All right, yo, it's your boy Yoshi Kid Neo, and we are back in the world of Boridil, the Ruination of Boridil. And today, I think the party's gonna be, they should be role-playing mostly, and trying to get back to Gamderal. They finished what they needed to do in the Rotten Vale. Shit did not go as planned, as it never does. There's a falling out currently happening between Three-Toed Jim and the party, but mostly I think Three-Toed Jim is taking it out on Tolktir. Lightbringer is trying to be the devil's advocate for it all, and unfortunately, Joe's not here this week, so we'll have to wait till next week essentially to see how the dust settles. But yeah, today should be pretty simple. There shouldn't be any combat. I don't have anything planned, but who knows what happens. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, shall we?
Your brand new machete? Oh.
Chainsaw, machete, and a video camera.
Hold on.
I've been waiting for this day my whole life.
Joe.
Yeah, I've been waiting to get killed on camera for such a long time.
Oh yeah, also hi Christian. I didn't say hi.
Eric,
Roasted.
See that scam that somebody tried to hit me with?
Where? Huh? Oh, yeah.
Tried
Just
to hit
now?
me. Yeah. We're like laughing about that, and Brady was trolling that dude.
You bastard.
Me?
Damn.
What?
I'll troll you too. You better watch
I'll
out.
show you back.
How does that even happen?
People
What
are special.
How it started was his Steam straight up let me know, hey, this person you don't have on your friends list is trying to get in contact with you. Will you allow it?
Oh.
I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll allow it.
That's why I don't
Yeah.
add people I don't know on Facebook.
Sorry, mate. Hey, sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. I
So
accidentally
funny.
reported you, mate. He was, cool. He was a cool guy. He was warning me.
Last we left our heroes, we began the session in the middle of combat, which is never ideal, but it can't be helped sometimes. Anyway, you guys had destroyed 3 of the 5 crimson flowers that essentially held a barrier in place to not only keep selected individuals out of the grove, but to essentially harbor everything inside of the grove from leaving. This was made apparent to you guys after the elder had used the last of his magic to replicate himself in this mud pool and speak out to you all, saying that it would be a mistake to destroy the last flower. You'll unleash it onto this island, and there will be no stopping it at that point. In which literally every single one of you was like, well, let's not fuck with that flower then. And then the only person that went for the flowers still was Jin. He had good reasons. His family's at stake, and if he doesn't help Natasha out, then he doesn't get one of his toes, and he needs all 7 of his toes to save all 7 family members that have been kidnapped by Rusty May. Anyway, the party made very sure to prevent Jim from harming the final flower, in which Trina had tried to negotiate with Natasha about what it is that she was actually doing, especially to the Elder Druid. Whatever spell she was using to get all the information she needed was very painful from the looks of it. Tolktir tried to essentially prevent her from finishing everything she was doing, but after she caught on to his shenanigans, she gave a very, very persuasive threat, and I believe you guys just let her do what she had to do. Once she got her information, she did give a slight bit of mercy to the Elder Druid and stabbed him in the heart to end his suffering. And from there, she realized that the flowers weren't all destroyed, and she agreed to help Three-Toed Jim since she could see that everybody was, especially Tolktir, literally had him in a wall of force, preventing him from carrying out his due diligence to Natasha. So she gave him gave him his toe back. She destroyed the flowers, and she left you guys to be on your way. From there, you guys started to make your way back towards Gamdaral, I believe, is your intention. So on the way to Gamdaral, let's see, bring you guys to the world map. As you guys were leaving the Grove, you were able to get past Myth Hollow. You heard the screams of terror and death, as well as the dragon Valhazak was still there, wreaking havoc. But you guys moved past it, and you got a couple miles out of the way of Myth Hollow, to where you figured it was safe enough to call it a night. Three-Toed Jim and Lightbringer ended up departing towards the outskirts of the camp, as Tolktir was bringing up his, what is it called? His tiny hut. So with his tiny hut up, you guys would be safe for the night, regardless of what it is that may be out there hunting everybody on this island. But Tolktir and Jimothy had a nice little heart-to-heart, and as they returned, the rest of the party, mainly Tolktir, did not seem very fond of what had just transpired in that battle, to the point where Tolktir and Jimothy got into a little sparring match. And I wouldn't even say a sparring match. Tolktir just took some punches from a very angry barbarian. Insults were traded, and the tiny hut went down, and Tolktir began to walk away. And that is where we will begin our session. Tolktir is leading the way off into who knows where. And the rest of you are following behind with Jimothy in the very back.
So, I was planning on just kind of walking for a few more miles, Brady,
Mm-hmm.
and then finding 5 miles or so at the most, like two to 3 to 5 miles, and finding a suitable spot, and then setting up my hut again.
Can I direct him in the right way of Gamdaral, though, in case we're still trying to get back there, right?
Sure, roll survival.
Yes, that is my ultimate goal as
Oh,
well.
fuck. Where is it? Oh, last one.
It is dark and scary, and
I get
Okay.
advantage, right?
no.
I got dark vision though.
I do
Really?
too.
Did you just fucking say that?
I have become error.
Do you think I don't know who has and who has not dark vision at this point? Do you?
Oh no.
This is an outrage! I'm just joking.
Roll me a D100.
Oh shit.
Dark vision does help you see your way,
Yes.
but it does not help you see all the ways. Roll a D100 for me, Trina.
Fierce.
Me?
I'll cut it. Yeah, I'll cut it into fourths. 1 through 25 is correct. Everything else is not. Hey. You continue westward, but on the way,
Oh.
everybody roll me a D100. This will be great.
There's
Minus
always a butt.
Jimothy, he's not here, so I don't want to accidentally kill
Come
him.
on.
Whoever gets the lowest is in for a treat. Beautiful.
Oh man.
All right.
Don't do it.
The scene is set. Here it is. You guys are walking. Tolktir is furious. Jimothy is equally furious, if not more, because he's a barbarian. Tolktir it's easy to keep up with him because of his stumpy little legs, luckily. So as he's moving through the Rotten Vale, not really minding his surroundings, he takes a wrong turn, but Trina is luckily able to get the party back on track and be like, no, we need to go that way. So Tolktir is walking, and he continues to walk. Does Tolktir have a weapon that has a blade, like a dagger or a sword?
Let's see what's in my inventory. I have a small knife.
That works. Tolktir gets to some vines that are blocking his path, and with his dark vision that he has because he told me so, he sees that there's no easy way around this, so he'll just go through it. He cuts through the vines, and as he does, he jumps onto the large roots of this tree to continue, but his foot gets stuck, and he tumbles down the tree trunk into quicksand head first. He's got 3 rounds before he's sunk and engulfed and suffocating. First of all, Tolktir, please roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Aye.
If you fail, you are suffocating. You.
Oh my god!
Oh no.
And Tolkir is dead.
No. He's got 2 rounds. It's either 2 rounds or it's 2 rounds before he gets knocked out because he can't breathe. So Tolktir has currently fallen. He's like, oh! What does the party do?
Can I throw some rope for him to grab onto?
Sure.
He's
You
upside
make a
down.
lasso.
Or is he?
Yeah. Roll a d20, add your dexterity modifier to see if you can rope
How do I
his
do that?
flailing legs.
Stumpy legs.
So if you look at the bottom of the
Dexterity.
chat log,
Roll.
there we go, that's perfect. So +4, 11. What's Tolktir? I'll give it to you, yeah. So you are able to lasso his leg, and now you've got a hold on him. That's 1 success in this skill challenge. You need 3 successes before 3 fails.
What?
Who's next? Oh,
Well,
this is
Help
Can I
him,
fun.
just-
pull him.
Can I just cast levitate on him?
Oh.
Didn't you already cast levitate today?
Oh, yes, I did. I cast it on
Yeah.
myself.
Lightbringer would help pull the rope
Okay.
with his brawny strength.
I'll say,
Athletics? Or straight up
Yeah.
strength?
athletics, with advantage since Babushka is helping you.
Hey. Let's go.
All right, that is another success. Trina, what do you bring to the party?
I'm looking at my bag of holding real quick. Mm,
Bag of hold.
Oh, I have a grappling hook.
There's
Can I
already a
just,
rope
like-
around him.
You gotta throw
Oh, but
that
what if I
stick-
went to the other side?
Stick on his ass.
Or I have a rope too. I could go to the other side, throw it around his leg, so Babushka and I pull like together, like backwards to pull him out.
Okay.
Pull in opposite directions. Make him.
No.
Yeah, make them make
Half.
splits. Have you ever seen a dwarf do the splits in a pit of quicksand? Aye, you're about to. All right. Same thing as Erica. Then roll a d20 plus your dex modifier, which I guess you can just click dex and do an ability check. That'll be fun. It'll roll the exact same. Okay.
Nice.
So Trina quickly runs to somewhat of another side, makes a
After I laugh.
lasso, yeah, giggles a little bit, tosses the rope, gets it right around Tolktir's ankles, and with all of your strengths combined, Oh yeah.
DP.
Yeah.
Unala.
Tolktir has been freed from the vicious quicksand. He comes up gasping for air, and as the rest of your party, Tolktir is helping get you out. Jimothy is still kind of absent from the situation, which I think actually would reflect exactly how Joe
He's
would
pouting
probably
in the
do
corner.
it.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain Joe would do that with Jim. So this works out that he's not here, I
Yeah.
guess.
So upon this other near-death experience, I will go sit down away from the quicksand and start in a firm, grounded spot that would have ample room for another tiny hut, and cast it again, Brady.
Okay. In the middle of
Yeah.
your casting, the quicksand begins to move towards. I'm joking.
Turns out it's an earth elemental, and
Ooh, that's good.
No.
No, so yeah, so you cast your tiny hut. Since it does take 10 minutes of him chanting, Jimothy goes to the outskirts. Actually, I don't think Jimothy would go too far. He can't see. He's the one that doesn't have dark vision. So what does the rest of the party do while he is casting tiny hut, if there's anything that gets done?
I'm just
Keep a
I'll
lookout.
Yeah, I'm like waiting
Yeah,
around.
I'll keep an eye on the forest.
Okay.
And I'll just tell them, like, we need to get off this island as quickly as possible after we get our money.
Money, you're saying?
Money?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, you
Oh,
had to
yeah,
hunt
yeah.
those beasts.
You guys did.
Three-Toed Jim and I, we
Yeah.
helped take down a couple of beasts, and it's a pretty big reward.
Perfect.
Well, I hope I get Thorpe's cut.
Why would you?
Well, seeming since I'm his replacement and I happen to help you beat that creature, it's only fair, right?
I mean, I guess. We'd have to talk to Jim about it.
Nonsense! It's only fair. After all, he's not in a good headspace to even think about that right now.
He might be better tomorrow.
How would you feel if you got news that there will be no happy endings for you? Even if you're blindly seeking hope to save something that's just dead anyway.
Well, we had to have a feeling that's the way it would have played out all along.
Exactly. And that is exactly what we need to expect from here on out. We also need to watch him. Of course, more of those reckless antics we cannot afford to have. Especially now, I have a stake in this.
Oh, you do?
Yes. And you've seen that cheerful glee that he had again is just sunk right back down into that frown.
Did something happen to you and Jim in the forest? Or was it that battle we just got done with?
Something happened.
Oh?
It seems my past is coming to haunt me, potentially.
Seems like there's a little bit of that going around here.
It's quite contagious. Well, I think it's only fair I share my real name with you all.
Oh shit.
If you tell me
Since-
it's Thorpe, I'm gonna lose my shit.
My name is Dr. Giles. My name is
PvP,
Nicole.
let's go. Just kidding. Sorry.
My name is Hannibal Lecter. No. My name is Nakal Nolakuta. Officer of Clan Yulblood. Well, former officer. But I am known as Nightbringer, of course, from what you know of me now. Seems old wounds are opened back up.
Well, thank you for sharing your name with us. Nicole, right? How was it pronounced?
That is correct.
Nico.
But Lightbringer is what I will and will always be known as. Nakal is from the past.
You were an officer? Like
Oh yes.
a police man? Wait. Yeah.
Clan Blood had an army, little squadrons between. I was an officer of my own squadron, working up the ranks. With everything that's happened, being betrayed by my own squad, wife being murdered in front of me, unborn daughter being taken from me. Of course, naturally, I got my revenge, but with the help of what you know as Archdevil. Despater came to me and helped me, gave me the power to get my revenge.
This might reset everything, but it's necessary.
Oh no.
It did. It did. God, immersion ruined.
No, you're fine. All you had were
Continue.
squawking crows.
Oh, my immersion.
Anyway,
the crows made
Despater.
it though. No,
Oh,
just
yeah,
kidding.
you're right.
All from a disagreement. We had a meeting. Had to evacuate our village that we were protecting because of an impending storm. I, of course, being the one to want everybody to leave. My squad, namely my right-hand man, my friend, brother, as I had to call him, disagreed with me. But of course, we still managed to evacuate everyone. Later on that night, figures came to us in the dead of night, beat me, held me down within an inch of my life, and then brought my wife to me, kneeled her down, assaulted her, beat her to near death. I pleaded. All he did was smile. He proceeded to cut open her stomach and take out my unborn child. Throw into a kindled fire in our fireplace. And proceeded to decapitate her in front of me. After that, when Despater came to me and forged this contract with me, I looked for him, that entire group, for a year, until I finally found him. Murdering left and right to get answers, to figure out where they were. I found them, well, what was left of them. They were a shell of themselves, sickly, barely getting by. But I didn't care. With my new abilities, I took control of my former friend and made him kill his men. After he was done, I tortured him for months until I felt I was satisfied. Still not satisfied to this day. But this Vader gave me a purpose. If it wasn't for him, I definitely would have killed myself a long time ago. It's been 10 years since that day. But it seems recently, in my chat with Jim, something's came to me. Don't know what it is, but I need to find answers.
Answers.
I'm sorry you went through that, Lightbringer. No one should have to suffer watching their family die.
But that is in the past. Can't exactly dwell on it. And I fear Jimothy is going through the exact same thing. Blindly running, where there's not going to be a happy ending. Madness is in place. I had to ask him if it was even a good idea to even pursue this, knowing the ending that he's going to have. Knowing that he's being toyed with. How would you feel if your family will be not the same when you save them?
I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen my family in years.
Would I know about Hobbit culture at all? Can I roll a history for that?
Let's see.
Or
Being a
halfling.
Goliath, you can roll history with disadvantage.
Okay. Unfortunate.
Unfortunate.
Let's see. Because your Goliath is not the typical one, right? You come from more of a hot location.
Yeah. More warbound.
Yeah, so you know very little. They tend to dwell in like hilly locations, plains and things like that. They usually keep to themselves in terms of to other halflings. You've never really had any issue with them yourself. You've never really dealt with them either. But you don't know like customs and courtesies of halflings. Except for, I guess, what you've gotten from Jim, that family is what drives them the most.
It would seem Jim's family is his anchor. So I understand the links that he's going through. Though it's clearly not the way. I learned the hard way. And I still feel empty to this day. I still remember all those I killed. To get that revenge. Only thing we can do is support him to an extent. Obviously, what just transpired was very much a terrible, terrible circumstance. Seems selfish lives are strong with this group. Anyway, AI perks back up into a smile. We just need to focus on the task at hand and getting that money. Sweet, sweet moolah.
Moolah. Butterscotch.
I'll take a butterscotch.
Okay, here you go.
What up, Matt? How are we doing today?
And he plops it in his mouth and crunches down into it immediately.
And then the old babushka puts her knitting away and gives him a hug. Pats him in the back a couple times. It's okay.
What about you, Babushka? What is your
What about
story?
me?
Why were you tangled up back there?
Well, like I said before, I was looking for information on my clan, the Baba Dishvili.
Hmm.
We are a crafters clan. They were taken. I don't know where. I'm trying to find them.
You are quite formidable, that's for one. It's kind of weird.
Well, before the clan, I was uh, sold by my father. And
Eh?
I was transported to a land where there was war. So I had to learn to fight, forced to be on side, and destruction.
with Lightbringer having this mask on, you can't tell what his facial expression is through his eyes. You just see him still with that freakish smile. Okay.
Destruction. 25 years. Oh. But then, the clan crafters, they found me. Babaldishvili. They are my family now.
Hey, I fear that. 20 years at war. That's, oh, I understand that deeply. All the violence, all the conflict. You can't stop it, it's endless. Though I met some good people along the way. Made some friends with some of the different clans, but, it was always war with my people.
Mm.
Kinda hard to get over it.
War.
War! War never changes.
It never do.
Trina, I know you still don't know me. I just joined you. Looking at an imaginary watch on his wrist. Earlier today, right? So, what about you? I shared, you should share. What is your goal? What are you trying to do? Why are you traveling?
I am traveling to serve the goddesses that I serve. They make requests and I do my best to fulfill them.
Sounds like Despater. But there's gotta be more to it than that. What about you personally, Trina?
Hmm. What about me?
Family? Heard little shortcomings of Padre.
I wouldn't say shortcomings, he just disappeared.
Well, from how it all sounds, it sounds like you're trying to rekindle your relationship with your elven folk. Am I right?
Necessarily, I want to figure out what happened to my father, why he left the family. The whole reason why I'm serving my goddesses is because I'm doing it to protect my family, to prevent what happened to yours happening to mine.
You know, it's always suspicious with my situation. I asked him when I found them, why did they target me? Why did they kill my wife? All he said was, they lied to me. They? I inquired. He didn't say anything. He just spit on my shoe, and I then proceeded to torture him further. No answers. All he said was they.
They.
Kind of poetic if you ask me that.
Well, I know the reason why my uncle targeted my brother. So. I started serving. I made the pact with my goddesses to eliminate that threat and then eliminate all future threats.
Hmm. Alright. Lightbringer acts like he's writing an imaginary journal. Interesting. Note. Taking notes. It's nice to take notes.
But that was years ago, and I haven't seen my family since then. That was part of the promise that I made.
So you became a bit of a nomad then.
Yes, but there are a few others who also serve the Morrigan, and we kind of somewhat made our own little family.
Yeah, there are plenty of us who all equally serve different devils with the order. But you know, there's only a few of us that are participating in this game, as I've already told you. All of us serving one different person. It's like a trio, a trinity. A trinity. As he says Trinity, he's like smiles in a very, still can't tell what his expression is with his eyes because he has his mask on, but he has like a very sinister looking smile. But who knows? Thorpe was a special case. The other one, she's a particular one. Not as complicated as Thorpe, but equally annoying. Obviously, for obvious reasons, I couldn't get along with Thorpe. Because one, he's a serial killer. Two, he eats people. And three, he tries to manipulate. All three things that I don't.
I think he was very successful at manipulating us.
That's exactly why he served Moloch, a master manipulator. That's probably why Moloch chose him. But what am I to judge? I served a Spader. Can't exactly question someone else's shortcomings when they serve whoever they serve. Oh, what was that?
Huh? What?
Was that real or fake, Brady?
What was what?
I didn't hear a thing. I didn't hear a thing.
I didn't hear it either.
Y'all ain't hearing that?
I did
Nope.
nothing.
Nope.
Was that supposed to be Jim?
No, he
No.
Oh, okay.
it was a
Oh.
No, not that bitch.
What's happening? Oh, I don't see anything.
He neither confirmed nor denied.
Mike, I'm not on the landing page.
No, you're good. You're
Right.
good.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
he
I
did
was
the
I was
evil-
honestly just testing out this new feature I found where I can send a sound to a single player if I want to.
Oh,
Whoa.
Yeah.
nice.
Nice.
That is scary.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be. Ugh, you asshole. But yes, it's not my authority to question someone else's allegiance. There are a bunch of us. It's kind of like, you know, or kind of like that Agent J guy.
I forgot that Thorpe was sending you notes on us. I was wondering how you knew about him.
No. I was told all this stuff by, you know, our old friend, future-seeing fellow, Carlisle. Saxon Carlisle.
Lord Saxon Carlisle.
Saxon! As he, like, does, like, flamboyant hands as he's saying his name. Saxon Carlisle. He told me a lot about you guys before it even happened.
Never run into him again. It'll be too soon.
Oh, man. But, I mean, there's only so much I know. I don't know the exact details of everything that was going on. He just told me of what you guys ran into so far. Just to, bring me up to speed when I made my grand appearance.
It being his fault.
Well, I don't know. He was a bit annoying to me at first, until he mentioned Thorpe's name. Then, of course, that piqued my interest, because how does he know Thorpe? Naturally, I listened to him. I relayed that information to Milord. And then here I am. Peaches and cream.
Peaches?
Oh, yes, peaches and cream are great. But, it could be worse, right? Could, well, it is bad now. There's an unspeakable evil getting ready to be released because of said witch.
There's already an unspeakable evil that's been released in the world.
Another unspeakable evil that's being released.
Oh,
At this point, it's about to be an entire apocalyptic, chaotic happening in this world.
oh.
Be quite unfortunate. It'd be as if somebody's gonna release some demon lords to roam the world.
What?
What?
I know, right? It's far-fetched, right?
You're trying
Demon
to
lords
Lord?
roaming the world. Hey, what? Me? I don't know anything about that.
I don't believe you.
Mm-hmm. Well, only thing I know is of the devils. That's it. I only know of the happenings of hell.
I mean, we were taught about the demon lords and their destruction of the world before our time. And we semi had a run in with some followers of a demon lord.
Wait, so that stuff was real?
Hmm?
The demon lords. I was just playing around with that.
Oh. Yeah.
Hell, where was I? Oh,
You
wait,
weren't
I was in
here.
hell. Yeah, I was. Yeah. Well, I don't know. You see a lot in the hells. It's definitely a whole entire different landscape.
Tiny Hut is done.
I stopped chanting.
Oh, Thorolfin, that stuff is ready.
Yes, and it is for everybody except our other companion, and I mean Jim at the time. So Jim
You
is
can't
sitting
just
outside.
out here by himself.
Well, until I
It's
know
too
he's
dangerous.
until I know he's not going to punch me in the face, I'm going to do that. So
You all go ahead. I'll stay out here with him just in case.
Well, I wanted to use this time to speak with him if you could bring him close. I'm not sure if he's out there or not. I've been partially paying attention, grabbing bits and pieces of your stories.
I'll look around and see if he's close.
To Jimothy?
Mm-hmm.
He's within your dark vision range, yeah. But he's off kind of just like, he's got a random stick and he's playing in the mud kind of like just mindlessly drawing.
I look back to Toktir. He seems to be preoccupied.
Well, encourage him to come over. I wish to tell more about myself and to try to express my understanding for his actions.
I try to walk towards Jim.
Here's a question, Jeff. Do you want to do this once or twice?
Uh, I mean, once really, but like, I don't know. I was gonna like
Because in theory,
exposition dump. Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'll
I know.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just retcon you talking to everybody at the beginning of next session. It might feel a little bit weird, but we can do
Yeah.
that. That way, Joe's actually there.
Okay. Yeah. Mainly I was just gonna talk about my dwarf stuff, backstory, my clan I came from, why I'm doing this, etc., and then kind of reel that into how that works in with the grudge bearer job. And I'm not just doing this because I want to. It's more that I have to, based on familial ties and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we will retcon and add that to the story next week, just so that you don't have to say it once
Say it
and
again.
then say it again.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
So Tolktir ends up getting Lightbringer to go out, get Jim to reluctantly agree to hear him out. Come over, probably say something like, "What do you want?" And then to have a conversation / discussion / listen to what Tolktir has to say. In which case, Jim says whatever he would say and goes back, finds a somewhat comfortable looking bush, hint there are none, and proceeds to go to bed.
Like I said, I will remain out here with him just in case trouble starts. So you all get your rest.
Call us if you need us.
I
But she's already fast asleep.
She can fall asleep fast.
Yeah.
Hey man, an old person, an old person energy.
So Brady, question about, I think we already discussed this, one of my features, using I can save a spell to use later in the day at any
Yeah.
time. And he said that the Master Scrivener, it takes up a spell slot when I do it or no?
Yep.
Okay. Can I do it now to save for later tomorrow?
No, you'll do it. You essentially do it at the beginning of the adventuring day. And then it's used for that day.
And we're doing this as long rest too, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Then then why wouldn't I just cast it instead of using this? I'm
I
confused.
believe it takes, I believe it changes the,
One
which
higher
one
than
is it?
normal. One higher than, yeah, I'll just
Yeah.
say.
It changes the level.
That makes sense. Okay. Okay.
Long rest.
Yeah, I'll do long rest, and I'm gonna use I don't know.
I'm rolling 5 dice.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm gonna do 8, just in case.
Okay.
What?
Wait, hold on.
So you'll click the
I'm
long
gonna
rest
roll
button,
6.
and unfortunately you do have to click roll that many
8 times.
times. Yeah.
1, 2.
I think I'm going to reach out
3,
to whoever
4,
made the character sheet. Wow, that dice was like spinning.
6,
And see if they can
7,
make a different function.
8. Okay, I did 8.
I have to just switch my spells around.
I rolled a goddamn 1.
It happens.
Is that even possible?
It's possible to roll a 1, but it's impossible to only get 1 unless your Constitution modifier is 0.
It said 1d6
Plus 2.
0, but the one above it.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a conflict when maybe a couple of you pressed it at the exact same time.
Maybe.
Oh.
Just double checking.
I'll add an extra 4 or 2 because
Yeah,
it'll be
thank
okay.
you.
Make sure you finish the long rest by clicking the button so
Yes,
it
yes,
refreshes
yes.
spell slots.
Okay, let me see. My hit dice went back up to 9. I used
Yep.
8 of them though. Is that
Yep, you get half
Did
of
I
them
do
back.
that?
half? Okay.
I closed my window. I didn't finish.
Uh-oh.
Right.
Just click it again and then press long
Got
rest.
it.
Don't roll any die and you should be good.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do the same spell from yesterday, Brady. So I'll just take one of the spell slots off, right?
Yep.
Yep. Then that would be
Oof.
It's the mind whip, right?
yes.
Doesn't it have to be level 1 or 2?
It is level 2.
Okay, you just put on there that you would cast it level 3.
Yes.
Noted. That worky.
Then I think that is it.
During the night, Lightbringer. You go to sleep somewhat fine. There's a tinge of excitement in your voice as you guys all start to lay down to rest for the night. In the middle of your night, though, in the middle of your dream, you're met with the whole ordeal of your backstory that you just explained to everybody being replayed again. Except for this time, it's the party taking part in murdering your family. This time you watch as Babushka and Jimothy hold your wife down, and Trina and Tolktir dismember her and discard your unborn child. And then they all look at you and they laugh. And they continue to laugh, and they get closer to you as they get ready to kill you as well. You wake up in the middle of the night, sweating profusely. You remember the toxins that entered your bloodstream from the battle before, and you are now poisoned. You do not feel well at all. You can feel something in your gut. It almost feels as if you swallowed an entire boulder. There's just this rock retched into your stomach. And as you press around, you can feel that portions of your body seem to are starting to stiffen.
Still.
You lay back down and try to get some rest. But it doesn't really seem to work.
This is still in the middle of the night.
Yeah, so the rest of you are asleep. Actually, everyone roll a D100. I love the D100. It's great. Whoever rolls the lowest, which might be Trina.
Why didn't that select anything? Why is that not selecting anything? What is going on? I don't know.
You
what's
want me
going
to roll on your behalf?
on. There we go. Nope, that's not how that works.
You know where the buttons
There it
are
goes.
on the bottom,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I was clicking them and nothing was happening.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I was clicking them and then like, they just wouldn't do anything. Like they'd light up, but the numbers weren't appearing, like in the text.
As Lightbringer is kind of grunting in pain, Trina, you wake up to the sound of him grunting. As she wakes up and looks your way, Lightbringer, you open your eyes and you see Trina, and she's got the exact same smile that you wear on a daily basis, staring at you. Except for in Trina's world, she doesn't have the smile at all. She's got the look of concern.
He's like attempting to like point in her direction, handshaking.
You okay?
Stay away.
I'm gonna wake up the others because I don't know any spells to heal poison. I'm gonna see if they do. And I don't have any potions either.
Do I know? Can I look at him? And by looking at him, do I know if he's poisoned or?
Roll a medicine check.
Oh.
I get out of the hut and go over to him.
You go out of your hut?
Well, I ask what's going on.
Babushka wakes up
Something's wrong with him.
and she goes over and takes a look. Trina is out there as well. They're not too far. They're like within 10 feet, so easy to talk to everybody. Babushka looks him over and she holds up a finger and says she has just the thing and produces a butterscotch.
Can I do a medicine check as well?
Yeah.
Mine's not gonna be great. I can do that.
Actually,
Hey!
What were you saying, Jeffrey?
I actually don't need to leave the hut since my manifest mind is up, and as long as I don't cast spells from it, it doesn't use an action to look through it. Correct?
That is correct.
I use my manifest mind to ghostly image my book out of the hut and look at what's going on.
Okay. So Thor is currently backed against a tree, and you can see his feet are squirming, and he's trying to back himself away from you guys as you get closer and closer. And you can see that he doesn't seem to have the strength to just stand up and get away. He looks utterly terrified at Babushka and Trina. Probably Jimothy too, but with your medicine check, Trina, I do believe that you watched as the needles flew from that creature, and you saw the poison being injected into Thorpe's bloodstream. So your best guess is that currently that poison is attacking his whole body.
What is wrong?
Well, shit. It looks like he's poisoned.
Poison? Oh. Then I touch him. I would like to try to use lesser restoration. Oh.
Trying to squeal away.
Luckily, he's not really good at trying to squeal away from you, Babushka. In this current state, with being poisoned and all, you are far much stronger than he is. But yes, you can cast Lesser Restoration using your Burn the Sickness ability, I assume.
Yeah.
So that'll be one of them. And yeah, that is exactly what Thorpe needed.
Thorpe.
Or Lightbringer.
Thorpe.
I do that all.
Oh
I do that all the
no.
time.
Hey, it's like
Great job, Babushka. Thank you for your help.
So
no
you guys watch as Babushka kneels down, and even though Thorpe is screaming, she simply puts a butterscotch in his mouth and grabs his lips and says something along the lines of probably like, Babushka will heal you. I don't know what exactly she would say. Do you have anything?
Sure. Have your
Something Russian.
butterscotch. You'll feel better.
And then she, as Thorpe, fuck, as
Oh my God.
Lightbringer is looking at you wide-eyed, still terrified, Babushka puts both of her hands on his chest, and you watch as Babushka is covered in flames.
Oh.
They spark, they ignite into this reddish flame, and she's able to transfer that flame onto Lightbringer, who freaks out, obviously, because it seems like he's on fire. But you watch as these flames turn into a sickly green as they burn away the poison, and then they dissipate, leaving nothing but a wisp of smoke for a matter of seconds. Lightbringer, at this point, you start to see the image of all of your friends looking at you. Their faces are starting to blur. Their smiles turn to that of concerned looks. You are no longer poisoned.
Sitting there, still backed up on the tree, frankly, like moving his hair around.
Are you okay, Lightbringer?
It's okay. You're okay. Pats him on the shoulder.
What's going on?
He was poisoned
Boys.
during
From
our
the last
battle.
Oh. Must have been a delayed thing.
Jimothy stands up and comes over and says, I was poisoned too.
Oh, he was poisoned too.
Yep.
Wait.
Why he's got that big ass poison marker on his token.
And Lightbringer, like,
Equal to
Still-
convolution. I use again.
oh, whatever.
Oh, sorry.
Never mind. Hey, I was gonna help you save that, but it's good.
Oh, that's okay. I got 2 more. Another butterscotch for you too.
Jim declines, says thank you, and goes back to sleep.
Lightbringer is still sweating. He like, thank you. I'm fine. I'm okay now. And he like scoots on the other side of the tree. But you do still see like mouth quivering a little bit after what was going down.
You said the other side of the tree?
Mm-hmm. Like the side that you guys can't see him on.
I'll go back to bed then.
Hey, back to sleep.
Lightbringer, as you nestle into your into between the tree roots, you bring your blanket up close to you, and you kind of clutch at it. The sweat is starting to clear, and then for a moment, you can see a flash of light in front of you.
Serves you right.
And then it leaves.
Bello. And he just closes his eyes super tight, trying to like force himself to go back to sleep.
Some psychological warfare, Brady.
He was poisoned,
Yeah, no, yeah.
but his was way worse than Jim's.
Yeah.
Luckily, you got a way to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The morning
Maybe I'll do a
comes.
healing spell next.
the morning comes. The sort of muskiness in the sky prevents the sun from really lighting up the place. It's not dim, but it's definitely not a bright light that lays across the rotten vale. As you guys all come to and wake up, you all hear clanging of metal approaching you from the trees to your north.
Lightbringer shoots up immediately and pulls out his claymore.
Clanging?
How long is the hut down or up already?
It's up for another like 5 minutes.
Okay. I am going to. I know it's too late, but I should have said it last night, but I'll start doing it now. I'm gonna try to start the attunement process for the ring.
Oh yeah, that's very simple. You're attuned to it.
Okay, cool. And then I just get ready, I guess. And yeah, get ready.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to hide.
I'm still in the hut though.
Are you hiding in or out of the hut?
Out of the hut.
Okay.
3.
So Babushka hears this clanging of metal, and she actually very quietly dips out of the hut, finds a group of bushes, and lays low. The clanging starts to get louder.
Lightbringer's still readying his weapon, like pointing his claymore in a direction of where the claim is coming from. It's in a ready position.
And as you're looking, the bushes begin to move and sway and rustle. And then out from the bushes comes your old pal Dusty. Except for he's missing an arm.
See.
Who's lost?
I remember
see you.
Dusty.
Tolktir would know who Dusty is.
For that
Lightbringer
short, brief
knows.
time.
Yeah, all of you know who Dusty is. Dusty was the one that brought you guys
Got it.
to Myth Hollow. The only person that doesn't know Dusty is Babushka.
I don't
Or
know
actually,
that.
Babushka, roll history.
Okay.
Based on you coming from Gamdaral looking for your clan, you may have seen Dusty. So you might know of him.
Oh.
I'll say that's enough for you to know who Dusty is, but not really like know him as a person or anything.
Okay.
Good to see you alive, Dusty.
Lightbringer
Likewise.
rests his weapon and like sticks it back into the ground.
Dusty takes his little walking stick and he writes into the ground likewise. You can see, occasionally you can see sparks jet out from the portion of where his arm was torn off.
Hey, what happened with that? And pointing towards his nub. Where his missing arm is.
He, one of his fingers opens up, and a scroll pops out, and he starts to write on the scroll, and he shoots it over towards you. Essentially, after the battle was over, I began to head back to Gamdaral. But there were stragglers that were coming out of Myth Hollow. So the creatures pursued them, devoured them all. And I was unlucky enough to have the pleasure of running away from an ebony Ogdegarin. Luckily, it only took my arm. And he does this over several scrolls.
Well, it was awful, but glad to see you're still, alive and kicking. Um, so good news and bad news. I
He
don't know
holds up
how.
his hand to quiet you real quick, and he writes a final scroll and gives it to you, Tolktir. Me first. We should begin moving now, because the Odogaron does not allow prey to live. I'm being hunted.
In that case,
Let's get out of here as quickly as possible.
yeah, let's go. And then I'm gonna cast my ritual with normal speed casting for the once a day thing for a telepathic bond.
The once a day thing?
It's with Awakened Spellbook at second level. I get one of the benefits is I can cast a ritual at
Oh,
normal
yeah.
speed casting instead of 10 minutes. So I
Okay.
just do that now.
Not working.
And Lightbringer just puts his claymore back on his back and starts moving.
And I do that with everybody here and say, well, lead the way if you know where we're going. We're trying to get back to Gamdaral, right?
Correct. I can hear it. Let's leave. I don't know if you all heard the sound.
Like a hissing?
Heard it.
Yeah, a hissing, screaming kind of thing.
So now that Dusty can speak to you all in your minds, you begin to march off towards Gamdaral. I'll be honest, it's quite lucky that we were able to meet up after everything that went down. I didn't quite understand what exactly was happening. How did you all escape Val Hassak?
Mean the Druids area?
Oh, so you didn't take place in the battle?
Oh, you mean the town? Oh,
Correct.
oh, that. Yes. Not exactly. Dead things were coming alive. Um, Majority of us weren't really into fighting said undead creatures, so we kind of just left.
Short end, none of our business.
Yes. There's also a cult there. Like, everybody in the town was kind of weirdly listening to the cult leader. Then there was this hag there, Natasha the Dark, I believe. Then yeah, when we all tried to make a break for it, she kind of tracked us down, revealed that she was in charge of the cult really, and she was just using the cult to lure out the druid in the area.
Ah. So it was all a plot from the beginning, from
Yes.
Natasha, to destroy
Yes.
the town. Very brutal.
Yeah.
Very cruel.
And then Natasha kind of offered some of us here boons or things they wanted, and sort of went with her, sort of went to the druid's location, and things sort of got out of hand there.
Well, what exactly got out of hands?
Well, what do you know about the druids in the area?
I know that they're the reason that the monsters are kept in check.
Yeah, she may have.
Natasha killed him.
Yeah.
Dusty stops and spins around. The druid of the Rotten Vale, the arch-druid, is dead.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the primary reason she was going there. She wanted to kill him and take his knowledge, and she did so. And she sort of consorted us into it, but halfway through, we realized what was happening, and we tried to stop her, but she sort of...
He's much more powerful than us.
He was keeping back this giant drake, apparently, and she single-handedly killed that thing without much struggle.
I've heard stories of Natasha's power as he begins to move along again. I did not think that she was so hell-bent on destruction, though. Especially the Archdruid of the Rotten Vale.
He really wanted his knowledge. She's almost, well, it was torturing him to extract all of it from him, and and as a mercy, and she said in her own words, she stabbed him through the heart at the end.
Well, once the other Archdruids figure this out, and more than likely, due to their connection to the land, they already do, I could see a full-scale assault on all settlements.
Oh yeah, that's what Natasha said was going to happen. The whole entire island is going to be destroyed essentially, and she was going to get as far away from here as possible.
What are her true motives then? Why would she do this? She's served at Myth Hollow for decades. And now all of a sudden she wants it all to burn?
No clue.
What did she?
We didn't really have a chance to ask.
She served
Yes. Natasha is a high priestess of the Thurian Empire.
there? Oh, she's using it as a cover to get closer to the druid. She was trying to lure him out with their fanatical ways over there in that town.
This is very concerning. I'm somewhat surprised and somewhat not shocked at the whole ordeal. It's very easy, I guess, for somebody to infiltrate that of a fanatical empire. But unfortunately, I don't believe that they're going to learn their lesson. Mainly because she got rid of all the witnesses.
Yeah, she didn't really care for their lives to begin with. Nor does she seem to really care for the whole island, the whole lives of the islands and the animals that live here. But by the way, how many people would you think approximately live on the island? You know,
A few hundred, maybe upwards of 1,000 or two.
okay,
Not too terribly much, but enough to where they could form a small army, perhaps.
Is there a way we can warn them before things get too out of hand?
If you have the spells to do so, otherwise they go through somewhat rudimentary practices. I don't know if you recall, but magic uses are not widespread on this island. Unless, of course, they are folks such as Natasha.
Well, can we get back to the closest settlement as fast as we can then?
Yes, we can go to the north, through the Coral Highlands, to Carbogate.
Will we be able to pick up our bounty from there, or do we have to go back to Gander?
Well, you got the mission in Gamdaral, so... and I do believe you all called a transport ship for the body, did you not?
Yes.
Yes, to get your payment, you'd have to go back there. And if what you say is true, the airships are probably going to be taken out of commission here soon by those creatures that can fly.
Is there any way to try and bargain and or reason with the druids? For the sake of the rest of the... Are the creatures at stake, or is it just like the living inhabitants of like the sentient creatures here?
The druids and the creatures live in tandem.
Okay.
It is the Empire's presence that is seen as unnatural on this island. And I do believe that this death of an archdruid at the hands of one of the settlements will be seen as a return to the chaotic nature of Dinosaur Island. once was.
There's more than just empire here, though, right?
Sure, there's freelance mercenaries and such like that have come to leave their lives behind. I believe one empire sends their prisoners here to one of the neighboring islands to serve out their life sentence.
And
But more than likely, they will either be forced to leave, and hopefully they are given the mercy of choice. Otherwise, within the next few days, I would assume, the druids will amass as many of the creatures as they can persuade and attack in all-out force.
and there's no way we could get some reconciliation in or stop this from happening at this point? that
He
you're aware of?
shrugs. If you have a good rapport with the druids, perhaps maybe you can speak reason.
They wouldn't come off the island, though. They wouldn't.
No,
Lash out.
no. I don't believe archdruids that are bound to land for protection are truly free from their binds. Unless the islands as a whole were to somehow be destroyed. I believe they are here for life, however long that may be. If anything, perhaps you could bargain with them that you will bring the one forth back to them for them to deal with on their own. But as you have said, Natasha is quite powerful,
Yes.
and I'm assuming you have no idea of her current location.
She portaled out.
Hmm.
She's not even on the island anymore.
Yeah, not here.
Convenient. You all, magic users, don't happen to have some nifty spell like that at your disposal, do you?
Not
I mean, I can
currently.
make a dimension door.
Does that teleport us miles away to the mainland?
No.
Neither do I.
It can move us 500 feet.
That would be enough for a few moments of reprieve. But most of the creatures can run that in a matter of seconds.
The only thing I can do is make people fly.
That could be helpful. Can you make all of us fly now?
Currently, I don't have it ready, so I need to relax a little bit longer to get that ready.
Perhaps maybe after today's travel.
I could try to turn into a large creature, but I'm more likely than to get attacked by other creatures in the air. And it'd only be for an hour, so it.
Well then, I guess we're just on our feet for a while, trying to dodge out of the way of many of the creatures. Which, perhaps maybe this is a blessing, but only for a short while. If a druid has been killed, once we enter the terrain of another archdruid, the creatures will then somehow relay this information to them and become, I guess you could say, under the control of the archdruid. It may be given different orders as opposed to the Odegaard and hunting meat.
So, what will you do?
I believe. And I will seek refuge in the forest of the elves to the north of the mainland. Perhaps the northwest.
The land of the elves. Interesting.
Yes, not because of the elves, mainly because I do enjoy forests. much more than marshes full of death.
Well, if you're looking for work, let me know. I know a family there that is good to people.
I would inquire. Yes, if you could point me in their direction, I would be sure to go and find refuge with them, I believe.
Seek out the Cardins.
The Cardins?
Yes. It's my father's house, but he's not there anymore. But my mother still runs the family.
Very well, the Cardins. I will seek them out. And they are in the main Elvish settlement, or do they live elsewhere?
No, they live in the Gala Empire. You said you were trying to get to the mainland, right?
Correct.
Yes.
The Lagala Empire. Very well. This is great information. I very much appreciate it.
I think they would appreciate your help.
I hear that. You should get the hell out of here.
Yep, Dusty actually holds out his other hand and he points to a gathering of trees. And in the middle of these trees is a murky pond. We should hide. If we can cover ourselves in mud and gunk of the land around us and can smell of dead trees and foliage, perhaps it will throw off the scent.
Well, I tell him to lead the way, and then when we get to the water, I'm gonna cast shape water and gunk us all up with the mud. And
Prestidigitate like different set onto us. Because it says you can make an odd odor, but I'm not sure what that means. Like,
yeah, I would say that
definite
once you guys get covered, you can make yourself smell like old moldy shoes or something.
Okay.
So you guys get close, and Tolktir starts to weave his magic, causing the mud, or causing the murky water to essentially scoop up the mud and slather everybody in it.
It can smell like ass and dog breath.
Trina uses her prestidigitation to make everyone smell
Not like terrible shit, but just like not like us.
Like ass and dog breath.
is this part of the bog still, or the swamp?
Oh yeah,
Oh, so we're gonna have leeches all over us too, huh?
perhaps. Guess we'll find out when you clean yourselves. So as you guys cover yourselves, Dusty then holds his hand down. Everyone get down.
You know.
And as you all duck down and find a different spot, essentially, to hide, if everyone could roll stealth with advantage.
Still.
Should work.
What a great advantage.
Oh.
Okay.
Damn.
So you guys watch as the sort of clearing that you guys were in before Dusty stopped you guys to go to the little pond. You see this creature pop out of the trees very quickly, sniff around the area, pick up the scent of your tracks, and go towards the pond. And as it sniffs around, it perks up and it looks around much like a feral animal. And at some point, it meets the eyes of Tolktir, and it meets the eyes of Lightbringer as they're sort of like melded in the mud, their eyes open, staring at this creature. And it looks at them, looks at the shape of them, and heeds no mind of it. Screams one more time, and then runs off. Dusty talks to all of you. We'll just stay here for a few minutes, let it gain some ground, lose our scent completely, and then we'll head to the settlement.
Works for me.
Nice stealth rolls, y'all.
Yeah.
Oof,
I am stealthy.
bruh. If it wasn't with advantage, then that would
Oh,
be
yeah.
bad.
We'd be in a fight right now.
Usually, if enough people in the group pass, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I have to use the restroom again.
Go for it.
Went back.
So a few moments pass, and you guys stand back up and start heading on your way. And Dusty, you can see that Dusty is keeping in mind the tracks of the Odegarin, and he's not following them to a T, but he's going their same direction.
So, is there a reason why we're going in the same direction that thing just came from?
Well, yes, Odegarans, they don't typically retrace their steps, being a apex predator. So us being close to its trail, it's not likely of it to come back to double check its work.
That's
It's when we,
interesting,
yes, it's when we lose the tracks that we should be most concerned.
though. Why is that?
If we lose the tracks, that means it is hiding and waiting, and we could have fallen into a trap. But if we can see the tracks have diverted into a completely different direction, then we should be safe to continue along.
Alright. Okay. And Lightbringer's like looking around. Trying to see if there are like any noticeable like sights that he needs to keep an eye on.
There are dead, decaying creatures, corpses littered throughout the Rotten Vale. Lots of weird fungi and shrubs and deathly looking trees. Murky footing and muddy. Other than that, nothing super duper interesting.
So, what else did you see during that battle?
I saw the Elder Drake Valhazak come in and completely destroy, almost single-handedly, the entire settlement.
Yeesh.
Honestly, the folks that were on the outer perimeters of the town were probably killed by other creatures. And then I saw the most unshakable image I believe I've ever recorded. It was this. It looked like fungus pouring out from Valhazak's body. but it seems sentient somehow. It was able to find the recently deceased, and it melded to them and brought them back to life, if you could call it that. But
you hear you hear Lightbringer like audibly smack his lips and then look at and then like cast a glance at you. Looking at him. Go on.
the creatures that it summons moved like folks, well, although not as agile. But it gathered around Valhazak. Some of them essentially morphed with his being to close the wounds that it had been given during the battle, if any at all. And then others were spread out, hunting their own.
Huh. Sounds like zombies.
Except for they weren't hungry for the bodies. Those that they killed, they were able to transfer these spores to those bodies and bring them back as well, creating a never-ending horde of lifelessness.
Lightbringer just sits there, like still walking, mouth
Horrifying.
just mouth. Ooh, can't wait to tell my boss about this.
Brady, out of character, I'm thinking you didn't just make the Myconids these horrible, disgusting creatures, did you? That are...
No, Myconids are dope.
No, but like the ones we encountered many, many, you know...
Many
Oh,
moons ago.
before you
Yeah.
guys died to the golem?
In the previous campaign before, because he said he weaved that in somewhat, right?
Yeah, you guys had talked to Myconids.
These are just like the current rendition of them, just horribly like altered.
No, this is all Valhazak, dude.
Okay.
He is an elder dragon.
Just
Of
curious.
great power!
Yeah, I'm glad we bamfed out of there.
And he was the guy at the top of the tree, right?
He was the dragon.
Yeah, it's a Drake. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, not at the top of the tree. That was
That was a
different.
different one. Okay, that's what I was thinking originally, but then you said dragon, and I'm like, I don't know if that one on the top of the tree even moved, or if it was allowed to move, or not.
Here you go. That's Valhazak.
Okay, that's what I remember being the town, and the Drake you showed
Yeah.
was visibly different. Okay.
Yeah, the Drake that you saw above the place was way different. And this one,
Yep.
sounded like that.
Yeah.
Man, if Monster Hunter was this violent. And this
True, yeah.
Instead of just being carted away nicely.
Yeah, and
You're
instead
over
of being
here-
carted
you're
away
over
and just
here
losing
doing
resources.
over here doing some Dead Space. Dead Space stuff.
I wonder if I can find necromorphs.
Oh lord. About to just introduce aliens. And
Oh no. He passed
I
the
have
block.
stats!
Yeah.
Ha ha! Oh, this is
we got-
great.
we got
He's
God
This-
damn.
this. We got predators. We got.
Could
we
you
got
find
xenomorphs.
stats for the thing? Because that falls in essentially the same realm of territory, like the zombified.
Yeah, I'm sure someone's already made that, but
Alright, so we got this. Xenomorphs potentially. We got predators. What else?
oh, this is
what's
great.
next?
I mean, anything, if you can will it, you can stat it. But if
Gotta
you can
make-
stat it, you can kill it.
Where there's a
Which
stat,
is why,
there's a way.
yeah, which is why in a lot of D&D campaigns, like the published ones, like the characters will meet a god, but the god won't have stats because you can't kill the god. Not normally, anyway.
And where it comes stats, it comes interesting abilities that could potentially end in the party in horrid ways.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, Dusty continues to move on and tell you guys these horrific things. And he eventually goes on to say, but luckily, after the onslaught, Valhazak retreated back to where it came from. So hopefully, that's the last I'll ever have to see him. Or see it.
Would that thing be able to do the same to you that it did to them?
I'm not really willing to try, but I don't think so. The only reason is because spores are organics, and all of the all of the people killed were organic in nature as well. Where I am made of machine and magic. There's a possibility, but I don't think so.
Hey, another question. What are you going to do about that? Need another arm? Do you have a spare?
I'm sure I can get a new one fabricated for me back in Gamdaral, or possibly even where we're headed.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we had a hot enough flame, I could potentially make something like that for you. Temporary, but you know, it'll at least give you a different arm.
I'm not too worried about it. It does make things a little more of a hindrance, but luckily Warforged can go without an appendage or two, and simply just get another one grafted to them later. I'm sure Wrench, if you recall, has his own cybernetic arm, so he knows how to craft them. He has been my mechanic for some years now, too.
All right.
So at this point, you guys start to get towards the edge of the Rotten Vale. And as you get, as you start to come out of the Rotten Vale, the scenery definitely changes. You can see the slopes to the north and the northwest that lead towards this. It almost looks like an underwater coral reef that's above water and not covered in, water. That was awful. But anyway, you also see many different flying creatures. They're pretty small though. They seem to inhabit the coral highlands. You can only see like them as kind of like mere specks, almost like a flock of birds in the distance. But Dusty pipes up and goes, I believe we are almost free of the Rotten Vale. So I don't believe we need to worry about that creature coming after us anymore. The Odegarin.
Well then.
During this, I'm sure like an hour has passed already. Just want to keep casting that ritual when I
Yeah,
can.
you can do that. You would just need to take a break, which, since you don't have horses or anything.
Yeah.
So during that break, as you guys are sort of on the outskirts of the Rotten Vale, since everything in front of you is kind of like open land, Dusty doesn't advise to doing your ritual out there. So Tokes here starts to cast his ritual. And this is where you guys end up seeing what looks to be a caravan starting to head out of the, what's it called? Oh, out of the Rotten Vale, kind of in the direction that you all are headed. And Dusty, oh, look, survivors. This is
Right.
actually really good to know that people did make it out of that onslaught.
Before like looking over there, like Lightbringer has like a frown on his face, but he fakes up a smile again and then starts frantically wavering. Hey, over here! Hey!
Up.
Uh,
We don't know exactly what it is that they're doing or where they're headed. And especially being on the plains now, making all this sound, it can carry quite a great distance.
oh, okay. Shush. The puts a little shush gesture against his mouth.
Trying to find something. So as you guys are watching and you end up seeing a bunch of crows starting to land from the Rotten Vale onto the outskirts of the trees. And you can see that they're all peckishly looking towards this caravan.
That's sus.
Lightbringer places a hand on the.
Can I do a perception check to see if there's anything coming?
Sure.
You can hear their wings like flapping.
Lightbringer places a hand on the hilt of his bastard sword just in case.
So from your perception check there, Trina, you see these crows starting to squawk, and you can see them all starting to leave the Rotten Vale. And there are hundreds of them. And they all start to head towards that caravan of people. And as they get closer, they're flying in the air, but then you see some of them starting to swoop down and peck at the people. You see them, their horses end up getting free and starting to run on their own, in which a group of the crows break off from the murder and go and murder the horse. Crows are killing a horse in front of you. As the horse
away is
falls, huh?
How far away is this?
It's within a couple 100 feet of you all. As you seeing this, the crows are pecking at the people, and eventually they, a couple dozen of them, start to land on the ground and start to manifest and meld together into a very large creature. You see this creature made out of sticks and wood, covered in what looks to be furs and moss from various creatures.
No.
It's wearing the skull
Nice.
of a deer with horns that are longer than your wingspans. It appears in the middle of this caravan of people, and it lets out a howl, which I don't have a sound for, unfortunately, right now, but I'll get one at some point. But it lets out a howl, and then it begins to completely slaughter each and every one of these people. And it only takes a few moments, and these folks are in no shape to fight back. And as it slices up the last one, its crows begin to peck at the bodies before it bursts into the crows that had formed to make it. And it begins to head towards the west.
I feel like I've seen something like this before.
What the bloody hell was that?
suckers.
Oh,
Where this
no.
thing shows, neckers come.
So Dusty, like you can tell that even though he can't make expressions on his face, just by his posture, he's jaw dropped and taken aback. I've never seen that creature before. I've never seen such brutality before. That almost matched exactly how it felt to watch Valhazak rain its terror upon Myth Hollow. And these were just innocent folks. They looked nothing more than townsfolk. Perhaps didn't even take part in the atrocities that Myth Hollow had gone from.
Yeah, we should keep moving.
Oh.
And fast.
Yeah,
Yes.
let's get out of here.
I agree.
Double time.
And as you guys start moving, you get closer to where the caravan is, or at least was, because that's kind of where you need to go. And you can see one of the people is slowly crawling away from everything.
Lightbringer hurries up and walks towards him.
As you get closer, you can actually see what little of his body is left. Everything from his belly button down has been dismembered. You can see his entrails being left slowly behind as he crawls away. And as you get closer, he doesn't seem to pay you any mind. It's almost as if he's doing this out of sheer stress that he felt before dying, because his eyes are blank. He's staring, his jaw is dropped, blood pouring from every orifice that it can, and he's just crawling away. And as you get a little bit closer, you can see that his feet are twitching, still connected to the parts of his large intestine.
Yeah, I think to Lightbringer, we should either put him out of his misery or let's go. I'm not that close to him, so I can't really see that.
Lightbringer pulls out his claymore and stabs him through the skull.
Okay.
Poor skull, poor soul.
That was a great mercy you brought upon him. But I do believe that was all just a bodily reaction. There's no way that he survived. Perhaps if he was warforged, he could.
I want to take a quick glimpse around the caravan.
Okay. Roll perception. You don't see anything like of value or anything like that. But you can tell that these folks definitely didn't have any type of like weaponry to deal with any of these large creatures that you guys have been seeing. They all seem to be more of the help around Myth Hollow. And you can tell that some of them were probably part of a family, because there are a few children. You can tell that because of the tiny arms that you see grasping teddy bears. But you can't see the rest of the body. Scattered somewhere in this whole murder scene.
Alright, Lightbringer like wrings out his sword real quick and puts it right back on his back, and then takes one last glimpse and then walks towards the group.
Okay. So Dusty gets you guys to the edge of the cliff, where there are some paths, some switchbacks essentially that you can go to climb up to get into the edges and outskirts of the Coral Highlands. And luckily those creatures that you saw from afar, they're pretty small and they don't really heed you any mind. They don't seem to be interested in creatures that are as big as you all. Every now and then you can see larger creatures sort of prowling around, but Dusty is good enough of a guide to see them beforehand and get you guys to hide away from them. Eventually, as the day goes on, you get towards the end of the day, towards dusk, and Dusty ends up finding a small little pond full of clear water, where he claims that this should be good enough spot for resting tonight, and we can finish our journey tomorrow.
I'm gonna hunt again. I'm hunting.
Okay.
So
Lightbringer like takes off his claymore and stabs it into the ground again. Like sits against a tree. Visibly looking a lot more serious after seeing what just happened.
Dusty goes towards the little pond and starts to clean up himself. Most of the mud and grime that you guys had put on your bodies at this point during the travel has, fallen off, or you've sweated it off, or whatever.
I prestidigitated it.
Yeah, or Trina prestidigitated it.
Do that faster, Johnny.
Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation.
After a little bit of thinking, Lightbringer like takes off his upper part of his armor and just goes to the pond and just starts washing. In which that he takes off the armor, you see the scars all over his back, and in his ribs, like where his liver was.
Oh.
just implying he doesn't have a liver now.
Oh no, he was stabbed in the liver.
Oh, okay.
And if you guys want to role play for a moment, I need to let the dogs out.
So, what did we just aid in releasing? As he still washing his arms and everything.
I have no idea what that thing was. But it seems to be some sort of magical creature, or some sort of creature of the forest, maybe a benevolent creature, forest defender.
But it's interesting that it completely ignored us, but killed everyone in the town.
Maybe it just didn't see us.
Maybe.
Or maybe it didn't like how they were using a cart. I'm not sure.
Either way, anything that kills that efficiently, we must be wary. It's headed west. What's in that direction? Anybody know?
I don't know.
I don't know if I know his character or not. But I think out of character.
No, either. I think it's towards the settlement that we were trying to get to.
Is it? Yeah, I thought the original one we came from was, or everyone else came from, was the western side of the island.
Well, if it's headed towards where we need to be, this could be quite tricky indeed.
I mean, if you guys are still trying to collect that bounty, of course, then yes.
I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if we should just give up on trying to collect the bounty, because
I'm
To
more
me, it
along.
seems like we should just be getting off the island as quickly as possible.
Oh yes, that's what I also believe. I do not think that collecting a bounty is worth it at this point.
But where else would we go to be able to get off this island?
Oh, there's multiple settlements. There's another one.
I think there's other settlements that'll be able to get us.
How long do you think it will be before that creature heads to those settlements as well?
Well, hopefully it
Given
won't
that-
matter and we'll be gone by then.
Very
The other
well.
settlements.
Lightbringer's like, he gets up, like, starts like shaking his hands and his arms and everything to dry off a little bit of the water, and like starts cleaning off his armor. Well, it has officially gotten way more serious than accounted for.
Oh yeah.
Evil being released. Now that is something that not anticipated.
No.
Now let's hope whatever has been released here doesn't go over to the mainland.
Yes. Even in my line of work, it's never my intent to hurt people or cause more wrongdoings. But this just seems like nature taking its revenge on people, but in the worst way possible.
Exactly. But maybe more broad than that. Perhaps this thing possibly gets stronger for however much it kills. That is also a possibility. It could also migrate after being finished with everything on this island. Who knows what it would do at the end of this?
Yes, who knows indeed. Oh,
Lightbringer.
sorry, over here.
Where?
Oh, over here. No, to your left. Left, not right, right. Really?
I send out
And-
my book in that general direction.
You don't see anything, but you can see footprints.
Lightbringer is he like swells up a little bit, like drops his armor and like touches his sword.
Oh, silly me. I forgot to drop the spell.
You see a woman in a low-cut shirt with dark red hair standing there before you.
Why, hello. I was hoping, perhaps, maybe, because of where you all just came from, you could explain why there's an ancient Leshen roaming and rampaging around the islands.
How about we exchange names first? Get those pleasantries out of the way.
I will ask the questions here. While you remain in your tiny hut.
Quite cozy.
Yes, I've been in a few myself.
Lightbringer puts his he like rests his claymore like on his shoulder. Leshen.
Correct.
Is that what
An
that was?
ancient lesson. It's not just a normal one. Well, normal ones are easy to deal with. The ancient one, though, that one has been sealed away in the Rotten Vale Grove by the Elder Druid for centuries, if not millennia.
Oh, that deer-headed creature that turned into
Correct.
crows? That's what that was?
That has the murder of crows, murdering people on the islands. That is an ancient lesson, yes.
Oh, well,
The original
you-
protector of the islands. It was sealed away when the Archdruids came to power, because literally anyone besides the creatures of the land or the Archdruids that set foot here would die very, very quickly once the Leshen found out of its presence.
And So, are you familiar with Natasha the Dark?
That's where that scent was. I thought you smelt familiar. Yes, Natasha is a stepsister of mine.
Oh, no.
He released it.
Do you like her?
More her family. Do you eat dwarves too?
No, not fond of the taste of
Why?
flesh
Why
from
is
humanoids.
everybody? Well, that's good at least.
I am Lilith Hart. And I believe all of you, your names are spelt out in front of me. Talktear, Trina, Lightbringer, Babushka, and Jimothy. Although, instead of saying,
Instead of saying Babushka and Lightbringer, she says your actual real names. Except for I don't know Babushka's real name.
Upon hearing his real name being said, he stabs his blade in front of him, like places both hands on the top of the hilt.
if you're trying to threaten me, I wouldn't recommend it.
No. How do you know my name?
Good! I know quite a bit about all of you. A decent bit. I've been in talks with Rusty May, one of my aunties.
Rusty May.
And she had originally asked me to take care of Jimothy's toe, but I've been so busy that I didn't feel like it, so I declined. And since then, she hasn't sent me any word. I haven't spoken to her in quite some time, so I figured, well, they just entered my realm, my neck of the woods. Might as well go talk to them. Plus, I wanted to get the scoop on what unleashed the Ancient Leshen. But since you all know Natasha, I'm assuming it has something to do with that.
Yeah, she had some.
It was her.
Yeah. Some
And did you unfortunately help her?
Define help. I mean, she told us to destroy some flowers, but then once we heard the druid reach out to us saying that wasn't wise, we stopped, but she kind of didn't even need our help to begin with, really.
She puts a finger on her chin.
You know, I never thought about being able to destroy the Druid's Grove by enlisting the help of feeble-minded individuals to do it for me. That's very interesting. You see, the ancient groves, the magic is so fine-tuned that us witches are unable to actually destroy it in its purest form. Which is why you all destroying the flowers is exactly what she needed. Had she gone into that druid's grove, she would have had to essentially wait for the druid to unleash her. There's some ancient tricks. Our mothers never taught us these, but I believe that she would be the only one of us that would be able to get through it. But yes, if I needed to get rid of my archdruid, now I know how. Thank you for the information. Very helpful.
Feeble?
Well, that's true.
Lightbringer.
Her name's Natasha the Dark in these realms, and you followed and aided her. I would hope that you would be able to understand why I would think your minds are somewhat feeble.
Well, it wasn't my decision, really. I looked to the rest of them. They had...
Those that follow a feeble mind might as well embody it as well.
Lightbringer.
But I didn't come here to insult you.
No. Just...
Lightbringer's gonna attempt to, walk up to her and smell her. Sniff her.
Okay. Once you get to about 10 feet away from her, she is watching you curiously, but then she sees you, sniffing the air. And you smell a sort of a very citrusy perfume.
Ah, do you like what you smell?
It's quite sweet.
Yes, local fruits from around the Coral Highlands. I've essentially created my own bit of perfume. I wear it so that I can mingle with the townsfolk without giving off any of my true intentions. Go ahead and have another whiff.
What does that even mean?
She, as Lightbringer gets a little bit closer to take a sniff, she ends up wafting it towards you. And you can see the magic leave her fingers. I need a wisdom saving throw from Lightbringer. You are charmed and see Lilith Hart as your closest ally.
I guess you might have some merit towards the feeble-minded thing.
Yes. Lightbringer. We're friends, aren't we?
Yes, we're friends. He cracks a smile. The familiar smile.
You see, I'm wondering. I've forgot. I know you told me, but what does Dispater have about this land that he's so curious about? Perhaps I can help you, old time's sake.
He hasn't told me himself. He just told me to follow this group
Ah,
and aid them in any way possible.
interesting. He is full of tricks, is he not, that Dispater?
Aren't we all?
I would say so.
You mentioned you
Well-
had...
She waves her hand and the charm ends on you, Lightbringer. And at this point, you know exactly what just transpired. You know that you were charmed by her and willingly gave that information, even though you knew you didn't want to.
Isn't it a wonderful perfume?
Lightbringer grabs his blade. Where do you...
I'd be careful. I was just simply showing you my perfume. And the scent that it gave off.
I can do that exact same spell. What are you doing here?
I live here. What are you doing here? You're not even really of this world. Not anymore.
Well, you already know that much about me.
Yes, those that serve Dispater don't typically come around my Coral Highlands without me catching a sniff of that foul stench.
Your Coral Highlands?
Yes, I would like to think that I am the most powerful creature to reside here. I know it's simply not the truth, but as long as those creatures that I speak of are not hunting me, then I would say so. So yes, my highlands.
Lightbringer plunges his sword back into the ground and starts putting his armor back on.
You mentioned that you had your own druid. Why would you want to, and that you could use this trick on them? Why would you want to take out the druid in your area?
I don't believe that I would want to. It's just, the more information you can be armed with, the better off you are, I believe.
So you consider this place your home, and you want to keep it that way?
Oh, yes.
And
it actually might be a little lonesome here in the next few days if the Ancient Leshen has truly been unleashed.
Do you want to keep the people alive here? And
I would prefer it, but I am powerless against the Ancient Leshen.
how well do you... Well, I mean, I've been wondering, how well do you know the other druids, and or is there anything we could do to try to contain the Leshen, or convince them to try and contain the Leshen?
The druids and us witches aren't usually the seeing eye to eye. You could probably tell that we don't really care for each other or like each other. We have different goals in mind. And sometimes we witches tamper with the elders' goals for our own amusement. So we're not on true speaking terms. But I also don't want to fight an Ancient Leshen, just to be real. That's one of those creatures that if it wanted me out of the Coral Highlands, I would go and get out.
The other archdruids, would they be wanting to contain the Leshen?
I'm sure they would, but until the new archdruid is, appointed for the Rotten Vale, the three of them simply couldn't do it alone.
Could you help them?
I don't think I have the abilities. My magic doesn't tie with these lands like the druids. And the Ancient Leshen is not that of the Fae. It is a creature of pure nature, chaotic embrace. If it was more of a Feywild creature, sure. But since it is born of this land, it will have to die of this land or be contained by it.
Are there any other druids in the area that could take up the mantle, or is that just not a thing?
She shrugs. I simply don't really know. I'm not really well versed in how they appoint their druids or how they come into power. I'm sure somewhere, someone's out there has gotten the call. In some way, shape, or form. Nature is weird like that.
And...
But...
Go on.
Anyway, enough about all that. Now that I've, I guess, got your attention, and now that you all have helped to unleash this dastardly evil upon the land, I also smell the faint smell of an old lover of mine. Saxon Carlyle, name ring a bell?
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
How is he doing? I've been
He's pretty
trying to
good.
contact him.
Seems to be okay.
He's the one that sent me on my way over here, gave me a tip. There's some contracts over here.
Did he ever, perhaps maybe, tell you to tell me anything? Or perhaps give me anything?
Out of character, Brady, not that I'm aware, so I'm going to say no unless you say, tell me now.
Jim would know. And so would... Actually, I think all of you but Babushka were there when you guys talked to Elsbeth. That letter that Carlisle gave was for this particular person. But I think Jim gave it to Elsbeth.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And then I think Elsbeth gave it back because she couldn't, like, it was blank.
Yeah, because I don't have
Oh.
anything I know of.
I'm pretty sure Jim would probably bust it out and give it to her. Do you guys think?
No?
Yes.
Yeah,
No.
I think
I
you
think
would.
so.
Yeah, I think he might say that, she'll... I don't know if he'd say that the other, if Elvis tried to look at it or not. I'm not sure if he'd say that to her or not, though. That detail.
Okay. So Jim nudges Trina and then hands her the letter, and whispers softly, it wasn't supposed to be open, so, try to make it seem like an accident.
We have a note for you from him, but it got kind of destroyed in some of our fights that we've been in, so sorry.
No problem. Would you like to come out and hand it to me, please?
Yes. I'll, like, get out and hand it.
And I look at Trina with, like, wide eyes, like, and think, are you sure?
And what is a pretty gal like you doing with some wretch like this?
As she points to Lightbringer.
You know, you could definitely use some better company.
Yeah, you're not wrong. No, just kidding.
Oh,
I mean,
at least
he's
you know
saved our
your
life
worth.
a couple times.
Oh, has
So-
he though?
He has some uses.
Excellent. I am a big fan of girl power.
And she holds out her hand for the letter.
I'll give it to her. Sorry if the seal's broken.
Oh, it's no bother.
And as she opens it, she starts to twirl her hair with her finger, and she waves her fingers across it, and you can see the ink appear.
To be young again, sending love letters back and forth. It brings me back to before the Ruination. Saxon, my love.
And she definitely seems to be like in a completely different headspace at this moment. She starts to like dance while reading the letter.
Oh. Well, if he says please, then sure. You all? Hello? Saxon here has requested that I help you.
In what way?
I guess whatever assistance you're needing. My guess is that he saw this whole event coming to fruition. He has a knack for seeing the future, after all. I don't know if you've had the chance to really get to know him, but he's really good at it. So more than likely, he saw this whole event take place and gave me the letter, allowing me to help you. So I guess my question really is, what is it that you would need help with? I would be happy to assist.
I mean, I guess we need help getting off the island.
That could be done.
Do we want to leave it in this state?
Yes.
We have
I don't
no
think you
choice.
have a choice.
We have to leave it.
Oh,
Alright.
maybe
There's
he's not
nothing
so
we can do
feeble-minded.
further.
Oh, I'm not opposed to not leaving. I'm saying, is there a way we could warn the other encampments before we, I look to,
Well-
I already forget the hag's name. I'm sorry, Brady.
Lilith Hart.
Lilith Hart. Okay. Thank you.
But she starts to walk towards the tiny hut.
Well, if you want to warn them, I'll take you straight to the settlements. And from there you can warn whoever it is you wish. Whoever would actually listen to you. And then you could part ways from this terrible island and not have to feel guilty about their deaths if they don't choose to leave.
Thank you, Lilith. We truly appreciate this favor.
Oh, well. I thank you for bringing this letter from my love.
A few more questions. Say we didn't want that. Could you just say get us off the island?
You don't want to warn everybody?
Just a hypothetical. Just wondering.
It could be done. We just have to steal an airship.
Okay. Okay.
Very simple, especially after Lightbringer has already shown me I've still got it.
And she smiles and does that little. She bats her eyelashes at you and does like a little wave with her fingers.
Lightbringer spits on the ground next to her.
Oh, that's no way to treat a lady. Ooh, I do have one condition though.
That being?
You see, I am somewhat of a gambler. Are any of you gamblers?
If the mood strikes.
Well, perhaps
Define
maybe it
gambling.
will.
And on her belt pouch, you see she's got this leather case. She undoes the button and she pulls out a deck of cards and begins to shuffle them magically, much like you see in the art right here. And they shuffle with each other. You watch as the deck splits into many different piles and starts to shuffle, and they all come back together. Shuffle, bridge, shuffle, bridge.
I have a deck of cards and I really, really love doing tarot readings. Is anyone willing to draw one or two?
Is
They
there any
are
catch?
magic cards.
What do they do?
Depends on what card you draw. Some of them will lead you to riches. Some of them could make a situation drastically worse. Some of them could reward you in ways you never thought possible. And some of them can give you powers, although some of them can take them away. Some of them can make your wildest wishes come true. Or your worst nightmares. Like I said, it's a gamble.
Lightbringer walks up, in intent to draw a card.
Okay. State how many cards you're gonna draw, and then draw them one at a time.
2.
Okay, so I have a roll table. It'll roll. Oh, apparently it doesn't work anymore. Oh, what? Oh no! It literally just erased the whole table.
Eh?
Oh
module?
my god. Yeah, I don't know why. That's so upsetting. Okay. In that case, we'll just have to do this the old-fashioned way. Roll a D78.
Oh, what? Is that what it's based
Yeah.
on?
Yeah. So /R space, actually do 2D78. And it should, yeah, it should pop out like this. It'll give me 2 numbers. $66 and $72. All right, 8, 7, 6, 5. And then 66. Ah, the Hermit. When you draw and up to 1 year afterwards, you may ask one question. It will magically and truthfully be answered alongside the information needed to apply the answer. That's a really good one. And you have a whole year to think about it. Your second card?
In which you would draw, and it'd be that 72. Let me see what this one means. Oh.
Oh my. You drew the Devil of Flames. You gain the enmity of a devil, which is really weird since you serve one. And more than likely, I can already guess which one is out to get you now. How ironic. safe, that is, for a devil worshipper to be sought out by one of his own kind. Or at least one of those that he serves kind. Anyone else want to have a go?
As she begins to shuffle the deck again. It is rather fun, is it not?
I ask, the cards he drew, do they go back in the deck?
Most of them do, yes.
Hmm.
I will try.
Okay.
Oh. Alright, babushka. Let's see, 47. 6. 5, 4. 50. 70. 40. 7. Ah! The 5 of Pentacles. Airsats. You may select one item that you own, and if it is ever destroyed or lost, you receive a magical replacement.
Oh.
And if you want to think on it, you can.
Okay.
Anyone else? You've more than satiated my needs.
I step forward.
Ooh.
You piqued my interest, Lilith. My better judgment says no, but I am quite intrigued, and I don't get a lot of excitement in my life. So most of my duties are mundane, unless they involve tracking someone down across, continents. But I'll take 2.
2 cards.
And you said roll a what now? A 1d.
1 or
78.
1.
Since you're doing 2, do 2d78.
Would that split it up
Yeah.
like that?
Yep. That's what I needed. A 16 and 17.
Mm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17. Alright, 16's first.
The 2 of Cups, the signature. A deal you have made, or one you will make soon, will result poorly for you. Oh! That's just too bad. And your second card?
As you pull it.
Ah, the 3 of Cups. The Fates. Back to back, I see. You can erase one event from the past as though it never happened. This can be done now or any time before you die. Ooh, that's powerful. To think, if you really wanted to save this island, you very well could. Or perhaps maybe you want to help your old pal Jim. Or maybe you don't wish to be tied down to your grudges. Or perhaps Lightbringer doesn't have to face the tragedies of his past. Or Trina, the same way. Maybe her family could be reunited, her father found, her love freed, and Babushka's clan could be free. So many possibilities.
What do you mean? Any event?
Any single event. As if it never happened. As if you went back in time yourself and prevented whatever it was from happening.
I sort of just like shut down and look at the ground, just like eyes glazed over.
Oh, there's so much possibility, so much responsibility with this card. I absolutely adore it.
And how do I use this?
Very good question. I'll give you the card.
And does it only work for me? No one else can take this from me, or?
Correct. So if it were to be stolen, it will magically reappear. And you won't have to worry about it. It'll come back, and you'll know exactly what it's used for.
Is the first card I drew gonna counteract this?
No, not unless, of course, the deal happens and you use this card to undo that deal, perhaps. But it is a deal that you've made, not an event you're erasing. So no, the two cards don't have to overlap. But that would be very interesting for you to figure out what this deal that went poorly is, and then be able to undo it. It would be as if you never drew the cards in the first place. A lot of people wish that to be the case.
Well, I'm still like half listening, kind of glazed over. I look, but I say thank you, and I take the card.
Oh, I thank you. This is going to be great. Anyone else wish to have a turn?
As she continues the shuffle, I'll give Jim the ability to retcon and come back. But yeah, I guess really it's up to, does Trina want to draw any cards?
She does not.
Ah, you're no fun. But you're probably the most sensible of them all. That could have been very bad for a lot of you. There's a card in here that utterly destroys you. Did you know that?
Well, it's good to know now.
I'm only kidding. No. Well, no, that's a lie. Regardless, we've drawn the cards.
And she shuffles the deck one more time, and she draws a card herself, and she's like, ooh, that one's my favorite.
Someone I absolutely hate just died.
I kid. That's not really the card. But they probably have some type of STD now.
Oh man.
Those poor unfortunate souls.
I'm just joking. She doesn't burst into song.
Man.
She shuffles the deck one more time, puts it on her belt pouch, and you hear the button snap. What?
Well, are you all ready to get off of this island then?
Yes.
You'll need to come out of your hut.
I drop the hut, but I say to everybody, do we want to just obtain an airship and leave, or do we want to warn them? I honestly don't care at this point, looking at the card, but I'm willing to just leave now. If you guys are wanting to just... Will you just give us an airship, or how is this going to work?
We'll discuss with the provider of travel and see what it is they can do for us. If we need to, I'll use my perfume to acquire us a ride off of this island.
I'm good with anything at this point. Yeah, I'm good with anything at this point. Just get us out of here, if that's what everyone else wants to do.
Well,
Not just
first things
leave.
first. We need to get to Cobblegate. So, right this way.
As she turns and walks a couple feet from where she was, and she starts to spin or twirl her wrist around with one finger pointing out, and you see this purple light emerge out of nowhere and essentially open up into this oval. And on the other side of this oval, you can see what looks to be city streets.
Right this way, please.
She walks right through this portal.
Lightbringer puts his claymore back on his back and just starts walking in there.
Follow quickly.
Hobbles through.
I also go.
And we pull Jim along with us.
Correct, yes. And then let's see. I will bring us here for the time being. But essentially, once you get pulled through the gate, you see these beautiful stacks of coral that are all sort of hollowed out, and you can see that people are coming and going from them. Some of them have this crystal clear water falling from the tops of them that drain into a large lake next to the settlement. Underneath this large rock, you can see various housing that has been built. Most of it has been built with coral, but some of it remains that of like lumber and stone. You can see boats that are out on this lake with various people fishing. And then there are these pink bubbles that are just floating all around. And every time you're looking down the alleys and the streets, you can see kids that are poking them and playing them and popping them and stuff like that.
Well, welcome to Carbogate. This is probably the last time you'll see smiling faces here. Oh, but let's go procure an airship, shall we?
And that's where we're going to end tonight's session.
Woo!
Whoa.
It's literally intense and intense.
Oh.
Yes. So, Erica, you'll have to figure out before next session which item you want to essentially never be able to ever leave your side for any reason at all. Tolktir and Lightbringer, you guys have as much time, or actually... Yeah. So Tolktir, you've got before you die to erase an event. And Lightbringer, you've got 1 year from today to answer or get a question asked that will also answer, or that it will give you all types of information wound up with it in order to make
my
it
God,
make sense.
Jeff, you could literally eliminate this entire campaign.
Not necessarily. He erases
yeah.
one event. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying he could erase
Yeah.
the demon lords invading the continent.
I don't know much. So Brady, about that, I was still trying to talk to you about like how much I would know of that with my backstory, because I have an idea.
The Demon Lords? The Demon Lords happened like 1,000 years ago.
I know,
Yeah.
but you said he could erase any event.
That I'm aware
Yeah.
of. And I,
Yep.
we'll talk more, Brady. But yeah, Kirsten, yeah. I
what
think this
to
is-
ask, what to ask.
Yeah.
Yes. What wonderful questions. What power. Let me end my stream. I'll be right back. Oh, that is exciting. Jeff does have the power to essentially change a lot of what has happened in this current story, or a lot that has happened in prior stories. In all honesty, it doesn't truly make sense to change the past of a different campaign. But if I were to ever actually write this campaign like out into a book or something like that, that could be a really neat, I don't know, arc or something like that, where Tolktir is literally being berated by a bunch of people like, hey, change this, hey, change this, hey, change this. And eventually he comes to choosing whatever it is to choose. Like, if I do write a book, which I've thought about, this will be very fun to write, like this whole part. But anyway, that's all we have time for today. So thank you for coming out. Hopefully you enjoyed. Next week, we'll start off with retconning. Tolktier talking to the group about his goals and stuff like that, since he hasn't actually done it. And we'll see, hopefully, him and Jim make up. But anyway, thanks again, and until next time.